to gain referrals during the process is a huge
Okay.
area that we can improve in.
Okay.
And then other than that, just like team cohesiveness.
Okay.
You know,
Good.
like we've been working on like the handoffs. Somebody's got like a
Yeah. All right.
somebody's
That's fine.
got like a weird delay.
Yeah. Working on the handoff.
Yeah, and just getting referrals
Yeah,
during the process.
All right. I'm getting an echo from somebody somewhere.
I wonder if it's because you and I are in the same room.
No, this happens sometimes. Let's see. Aaron, are you on two different mechanisms? Aaron, are you on two different mechanisms? Are you using your computer and your phone?
Maybe. Let's see. Audio. I don't know.
Well, your computer has your, mute yourself on your computer, but not on your phone.
Okay. Mute.
Okay, I'm muted myself.
Aaron, talk a little bit.
I can't. Can you hear it?
Yeah. Aaron, can you talk?
I'm talking and I'm still hearing it.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not hearing it on my end though. Well, you really don't have to do much talking. It'll be me. Can you guys all hear me today?
Yes.
Everybody can hear me? Okay. So
are you here?
I see Adrian's on, Pam's on. I don't know if is Angela or Tony.
Angela, Tony, are you there?
Usually there's 4 of us on.
Okay, no worries. No worries. Okay, so what I'm going to do on these classes, I'm going to record them every time we have them, so don't worry about having to take notes and whatnot. I'll record them, download the replay, and send you guys all a copy of it after if you guys want to listen to it all over again. But to Aaron's point, one of the greatest struggles that a business owner goes through is taking the value system and the culture that he or she is building and training his team and his partners to all kind of act and do similar things that produce similar results. And what I mean by that is Aaron's a really great originator, meaning he knows how to go out there and drive in leads, and his ability to do that is only one area of how you guys as a team can continue to grow and produce a higher income for everyone. And the other piece of that, or the component of it, is what I call the current client. And I'm still getting feedback. All right, I'm just gonna mute everybody for right now. Okay. And one of the greatest tools that is available is our ability to take the people that are already in a relationship with us, whether they be past clients or current clients, and turn them into advocates of our business. And one of the greatest struggles that every business has is figuring out the best way to do that. And I've really come up with 5 different reasons why people are afraid to leverage the relationship within the dynamic of doing business with each other. One, I don't believe that anybody ever is trained on how to appropriately set the bar of expectation up in the beginning, and that's a conversation that Aaron and I will have. But I also don't think the team that you guys are currently in, anybody's ever been trained on when and how to ask for help from your current and past clients. The other part is that sometimes we get so busy that we forget. We get so caught up in our business that we forget that during the interactions with our clients, there's always a reason and a purpose to be in a conversation with them. I've always believed that the reason that we pick up the phone is to give people updates and facts, but I believe the purpose in the phone call is more to do with seeking out an opportunity to ask for help. The other part of it is sometimes people are very uncomfortable asking for help. I think traditionally we as human beings believe that anytime we ask for help, it's a sign of weakness. We believe that it's a feeling of being in a position where we can't do it on our own. And that is a hard hill to climb over, especially if your upbringing has always been, like most men have been, that asking for help is a sign of weakness. And so we'll get through that with some conversations as this class continues to evolve. You also may have to find ways to become more referable. We have all interacted with people in our life in a sales or consultative or even at a service level with waiters and waitresses where you fall in love with their personality, and when you look at that kind of a person, you know that they are what we would consider to be referable. And the definition of referability to me is feeling like you want to pass on a compliment to somebody by either saying thank you or wow, I appreciate that, or that was a great experience to somebody else. So I'll give you guys an example. Aaron, do you have a favorite restaurant that you like to go to?
Yeah, I love going to Duffy's.
Duffy's?
Yep.
Okay. Have you ever been to Duffy's on a Friday and Saturday?
Yeah.
Is it busy?
It's always busy.
It's always busy. Do they advertise? Do they promote their business and try to bring people in with coupons and discounts?
Not really. I think they have more like a loyalty program.
Okay. So what you've just experienced, and this is the science behind what I'm trying to get at, is there is a product and a process in everything that we do, including our industry. We have a product. Well, in this case, Duffy's has a great restaurant, meaning the food is something that Aaron likes to go and have, or the beer or the cocktails or whatever the atmosphere is like, whatever the reason is that he's going there. That's the product. The process is the feeling that that's created from the moment that he walks in to the moment that he leaves. When both of those are produced at a level where they exceed your expectations, Aaron, with as many different restaurants and as many different clubs or as many different spots that he can go to, picks this restaurant as being his favorite. Not because somebody asked him to, not because he's being paid to, but because they have basically created a feeling in Aaron that makes him feel compelled to want to share that name with somebody else and advocate their business. Why is it that we in our industry can't have that same level of effect on people, but do it in a way that is orchestrated or that is premeditated and done in such a way that everybody who's engaged in the process, from Aaron down to Tony and Adrian, that the message is very clear, that our business model, our value system, and our culture is designed to promote our level of success through your or our client's ability to feel compelled to want to tell other people about us. Just imagine if you walked into Duffy's and Duffy said, hey, what did you think of your experience here today? And they would have been like, oh man, it was great, I love coming here. And then that's the end of the conversation. But we've all had those conversations with our clients. Hey, Pam, thank you, you're amazing. Aaron says every time I talk to him that you get these reviews from your past clients and realtors that actually love you and think that you walk on water. Aaron, you get the same feedback from people. But our traditional response is, hey, no problem. Hey, it was my pleasure. Hey, it's no big deal. We diffuse that conversation as opposed to leveraging it to help us basically promote our businesses through other relationships. And the last one is, sometimes we as professionals come from more of a superstar mindset and less of a super servant mindset. And the simplest way that I can define it is, a super servant is somebody that gives it away in slices, knowing that it comes back in loaves, whereas a superstar is more predicated on their ego, is more concerned about units, more concerned about volume, more concerned about anything other than just the relationships. Relationships are how a super servant believes that their business and their value system functions. And in order to become a referable person, we have to take a shift in our mindset and worry less about numbers and less about transactions and focus more on the relationships, which, as my understanding of how your team has been built, Aaron, that's not a problem. I don't think you have one superstar on your team. I think you have exactly super servants across the board, which is a huge plus because trying to weed out those people from your business is sometimes a lot more difficult. If everybody has a computer screen up, if you don't mind, Pam, could you do me a favor? Could you read what was on the what's on the computer screen?
Sure. If I had 9 hours to chop down a tree, I'd spend the first 6 sharpening my axe. Abraham Lincoln.
Can you tell me what that means to you?
That means that preparation and planning are key. The execution is built out of the preparation and planning.
Right, right. How much time do you guys think you spend practicing your craft? How much time do you think during the day you guys are actually practicing what your job really requires? Or do you get your practice from trial by fire? Do you get your practice by just jumping into it and trying to figure it out? I can tell you that my career, I never took enough time to practice. I always just jumped in and tried to figure it out because I always felt like I led with the best heart that I possibly had. But then somebody came to me and said, look at professional athletes. Let's just take professional football, not the Aaron Hassinger football, but the NFL football. If we were to look at how many times a week a football player practices compared to how many times a week they actually play, would you say that they spend 80% of their time practicing and only 20% of their time playing? It's pretty fair, right? But yet, where do the players make their money? Do they make their money on the practice field, or do they make their money on the football field? They make their money on the football field. So they make 100% of their income performing 20% of their job, but 80% of their performance is predicated, 100% of their performance is predicated on spending 80% of the time in the shadows. And I look at like a guy like Tom Brady. For most of you who may or may not know who he is, he's arguably probably one of the best quarterbacks in NFL history, not because he was drafted first. He was actually drafted like 137th, but because his preparation and planning and knowledge of the game is so over the top, is that he literally shows up and he decimates the opponent in most games because he knows all of their defensive strategies. It kind of comes into the same play here with what we're talking about. We show up every day believing that we're going to put forth the best effort, but then what happens is we get caught up in the business and we get caught up in our job and we get caught up in the things that we do every single day, and we don't take the time to plan out what it is that we're actually after. I'm here to tell you that Aaron's strategy for going out and generating business, he's got enough strategies on how to do that. That part of it is not really what this call is about. This call over the next several weeks is going to be really focused on what happens from the moment that a client comes into the door and you guys have your process. I'm going to work with you guys on how we can, what we call orchestrate referral moments, to help you guys create additional opportunities through the people that are currently working in your pipeline, so that you guys can cultivate new business just by asking and by providing great levels of service, great information, and being what I call referable. Does anybody see a problem with that? Does anybody feel like that may not be the best approach or best way to spend our time?
No.
I'm getting a lot of feedback. I apologize. I'm trying to figure out where it's coming from. Yeah, I don't know. Okay. We'll just muddle through it. So, does anybody have any questions so far?
No, I think that makes sense.
Okay. So I'm going to start with the front. And the front, to me, is how Aaron sets the bar of expectation up in the very beginning. Aaron, these calls are not going to be on strategies and how you can generate more activity. These aren't going to be on tools and tips on how you can put yourself in front of more realtors. This is going to be more about what it is that you say to people when you're in front of them. What is the one difference between you and every other loan officer in this company? If you were going to be competing against another LO in this company for a mortgage, what would you say would be the one differentiating fact that puts you at a disadvantage or at an advantage over somebody else?
I think an advantage for going with me is really my team and the level of communication that we're providing during the loan process.
How can you qualify that statement in the first 3 to 4 minutes of meeting somebody for the first time? Because that's really where you get to create a first impression. By the 5-minute mark, people have already decided if they like you and want to work with you. So how do you qualify that statement to get people to believe that what you're saying is really true and sincere and genuine?
You want me to give it a shot?
Yeah. Well, you know what? And here's not the point. The point isn't what you say. I'm sorry, today it isn't about what you say. But what's the one quality? Give me a quality about you compared to anybody else in this company that regardless of your benefits, what is the one differentiating quality between you and everybody else? And it's just a general statement across the board with anybody that does business.
I think we're fast.
Okay. The one quality that differentiates you from everybody else in your area, and then for that matter in this industry, is what you say. There's only one quality that differentiates you from everybody else. Everybody can say that they're fast. Everybody can say that they're qualified. Everybody can say that they care. Everybody can say that they've got a great team. Everybody can say that they can communicate. The difference is how you choose to articulate what's in your heart and how it goes to your brain, and then how your brain reacts to it and how it comes out of your mouth. The way in which we create a image or a frame of who we are is what differentiates us from everybody else. Meaning that if I was to sit down and explain to a borrower how my business model works, and you were to sit down in front of a client and you were going to explain to them how your business model works, there's going to be a different feeling evoked by my conversation versus yours, even though the end result is the same. Would you agree?
Agree.
Okay. So one of the things that I want to work with you on these calls in the beginning is going to be what it is that you're going to be saying to your borrowers that allows you to hand off your clients to your team, so that when they're making the conversations and they're orchestrating those moments and they're asking for the business and asking for help, that the borrower doesn't feel like they've been kind of manipulated. So let me be clear about this in the very beginning. When you agree to do business with somebody, you agree to do business based on a set arrangement that is disclosed at the initial conversation. Whether it is that I'm going to close your loan in 30 days, whether it's going to be at a certain rate, whether it's going to be at a certain number of fees, whatever the agreements are. And if the agreement comes out and it's different and it's not what they expected, meaning that it's worse, you probably find some resentment in the borrower. Now, if you can set an expectation up and you can exceed it and the borrower is surprised on a happy level, that's always what we're after. But I'm more referring to when you set the bar of expectation up and people don't honor it, the borrower starts to feel a little bit of angst and a little bit of confusion because they didn't necessarily agree for this. So the analogy that I like to use is, imagine if Aaron, you and I are going to a concert, and I tell you it's going to be a rock concert, we're going to have a great time, it's going to be loud music, a lot of great people, and we get into the auditorium and it ends up being a Christmas play. Now, I'm not saying you don't like Christmas, and I'm not saying you don't like hanging out with me, but when you sit down in the presentation of what was on stage versus what your perception was, how do you feel? How does that make you feel?
Deceived.
Yeah, deceived a little bit. So there's a local banking institution that I used to do business with, that every time that I came in, they would always ask me to refer a friend and a family, and they were going to give me $25 or $50 every time that I did that. I never referred one person to that bank, no matter how many times they asked. And I liked my bank. I liked it because of the hours. I liked it because the people were friendly, but I never referred anybody to them regardless of the dollar amount, because I believe that when I joined the bank, I didn't join the bank to send my clients to them or my friends to them. I joined the bank because of my personal reasons. It's very similar in our industry. when we make an agreement with a borrower to do business with us, if we're not setting the expectation up that we're going to do a really good job for their loan needs, and we're not setting the expectation up that we are going to require them to endorse us and to advocate our business, if we earn it, it makes it virtually impossible for your team to ever be put into a position to have success, because your clients didn't agree in the beginning that that was the way that your business was built. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So one of the things that I want to work with you on a little bit today, and we can do this on another class or we can do this separately, is when you have that 15-minute window that you and I talked about when you were up here, that you've got a 15-minute time slot that your job is to communicate your value, set the stage of expectation, so that when your team gets involved, they can further or carry the torch. You're going to hand the torch off to Angela. So Angela's got to be capable of being able to say the things that she knows that she has to say and want to say, so that she can orchestrate those referable moments. But you've got to set the stage very clearly in the beginning on why people should work with you. You should be able to very clearly, in a short period of time, articulate your value, so that as your team takes the ball and the clients tell your team they're doing a great job, your team should be able to look at them and say, hey, you know what, thanks for noticing. We really take a lot of pride in servicing our clients, and we know that as advocates of our business, you're gonna tell the people in your life about us. So the next time that you're at a water cooler or you're at a family function and you're talking to people about your home, or you're talking about the appraisal that you just got, people are going to ask you questions. We would love it if you advocate our business, i.e. the same way that Aaron recommended Duffy's to us. Think about the power that that has on a human person when somebody asks you, what's a good restaurant? And you go, oh, God, Duffy's, man, that's the place you got to go. But Duffy's never asked you. Duffy's didn't promote it. Duffy's isn't paying you. So imagine if you were able to orchestrate that kind of expectation in the beginning of your dialogue with your clients, what the power would be if your team continued to ask and remind your client through the entire process how much they care about their willingness to have the confidence in your team to do their mortgage. It just breeds the opportunity for people to say, wow, that's awesome. You know what? Just as an example, I need to talk, you know, my coworker in the cubicle next to me is talking about buying a house. I'm going to give him your name and number. Ryan Miller, Aaron knows very, very well. Ryan used to be the king of gift baskets. That's what he predicated his life on. He's like, I got more gift baskets than anybody. He hasn't gotten a gift basket in the last 6 months, but in the month of January and February, he received north of 30 leads a month coming from people that already know him, like him, and trust him, and a majority of them came from past clients that he reconnected with, and some of them came from his current clients. But he said that the reason that his current client referrals have dwindled is because he was too busy servicing his pre-approvals, and he got too busy to ask. He got too busy to set that bar up in the beginning. Ryan's business is slightly different because Ryan doesn't have a team. Aaron, you do. Your entire technique, your entire business model should be learning how to perfect that 15 minutes that a borrower has with you on the phone, so that you set the stage so abundantly clear that your team doesn't really have to do much besides remind them that your business is referred and that you care about the people that refer you and the relationship that you've established with them. And that's what I envision these classes turning into, starting with Aaron, then working with Angela, and then going through with Pam. I don't know if Adrian and Tony are going to have a major role in it, but I think that a lot of the conversations in setting up appointments with realtors, some of that can be started and that dialogue kind of set so that when Aaron does show up for a face-to-face, he's not really talking, you know, he's not talking cold turkey from the beginning. He's more or less just reinforcing what Tony or Adrian had said to get the appointment in the first place.
Agreed, and Tony she will play a part in this because, you know, she's the first person that a lot of people talk to, and
okay.
She also is helping us follow up on leads that have been non-responsive.
Okay. Okay, so the leads that are non-responsive, so in a lot of ways, we might have to work on a different kind of a script process. I kind of more envision this where it was Aaron setting the stage with your clients, not so much realtors right now, but with clients, and then with Angela being able to communicate to them as they enter into the process to kind of deepen that relationship and keeping the consistency of the message across the board. We all know you guys do a great job.
It is that.
Oh, it is.
Yeah, I'm just saying that Tony answers the phone right now at the office. So if someone calls
Okay.
our number, they're talking to Tony, and Tony and I have been working on her handoff to either me or Angela, and she's doing really good at it.
Got it. So within that period of time, how long does, and I don't know if Tony's on the call or not, how long does Tony usually have on the phone with a borrower? I mean, is she really just answering the phone and saying, hi, good afternoon, Aaron Hassinger team, how may I direct your call, or is it from, she knows that it's a lead coming in? Tell me a little bit more about how that looks.
Go ahead, Tony. You there, Tony? Can't hear you. I don't know. She's here.
Okay.
Hello,
Okay.
can you hear me? Hello?
Hi, Tony. Hi, Tony.
Oh, hi, I do apologize. I was speaking here. I thought you could hear me.
No, that's okay.
Anyway, yeah, with regards to incoming calls, it really depends on the type of call. There were some who will just call directly and say, I want to speak with Pam, Aaron, or Angela. If that's the case, then I just really have to direct the call and transfer it to Aaron or Angela or Pam. But there were some who will actually call and say, hi, I was actually referred to by this person, or I'm looking into getting a pre-approval. And if that's the case,
Great.
I'll go ahead. Yeah, that's the time I could get a little conversation with them. Oh, you want to get pre-approval? Yeah, who referred you? Oh, yeah, we know that he's one of our realtors. He's one of the best realtors. I'll go ahead and get you over with Aaron or whoever is available to take the call. I actually have conversation with Aaron wherein I have to build up whoever I'm going to transfer her to, like tell her about Angela's experience, that Angela will be able to assist her with her concern and have her pre-approved in just 10-15 minutes. Yeah, those things. So that's the time that I could really have a conversation with them.
Well, let's talk a little bit about that specific kind of conversation. I'm not so interested about the people that call and go, I need to speak to Pam or Angela or Aaron. I'm more talking about those ones you start to have a conversation with, especially the ones that say, hi, my name is so-and-so, Mr. Realtor had referred me to you for a mortgage application. This is the point in time where you have the ability of reframing the image that people have of mortgage companies. Let's be very clear about something. Everybody has an experience with somebody in our industry, whether it be a realtor or whether it be a lender. They believe they know what Aaron is or what Pam is or what Angela is before they ever talk to them, only because of their past experiences, either getting a mortgage, attempting to get a mortgage, or in some variation dealing with somebody who's related to the industry. So we have a very unique opportunity, and that is to reframe the picture of what they envision we are. And it starts with taking that initial conversation right back into what I consider to be the triangle of trust. And the triangle of trust to me is really honoring the source of the business in which it comes from. So in a very short dialogue, let me kind of go into it like this. So let's say Aaron had referred you to me, and you were calling me for the first time. My initial conversation would go something like this. Hey, Tony, thanks for calling. Man, I'm super excited that Aaron had the confidence in us to send you along to us. Can I ask you a real quick question? What did Aaron say about me that made you feel comfortable in wanting to call?
Oh, okay.
Okay. And that conversation now becomes a very great door opener because now the borrower is telling you exactly what their expectation of you is. I've heard everything from they say that you're awesome, you know what you're doing, you'll take care of us, you're going to treat us like, you're going to treat us like royalty, you've got the best rates, you've got the quickest turn times, whatever the information is, which is a great value to whomever you're going to pass that call on to, because now it gives Aaron or Pam or Angela the ability to communicate in exactly the language that they are looking for.
Yes. Yeah.
Additionally,
right.
Yep. Additionally, as you continue that conversation, it's more about like what you said. You know what? I'm so excited that Aaron referred you. You know, I've known Aaron for the past couple years, and I got to tell you, I don't know how you got a hold of Aaron or how you became connected with him. How did you stumble across Aaron in the first place? And they would typically say, oh, either somebody referred them to me, or they would say, I saw his name on a sign, or whatever the case may be. And whatever conversation comes from that response is really centered around what they say to me. If, for example, they say, my brother used him and referred him, and that's when I would go into, that's so cool, because our business mirrors exactly that. Our business is built around relationships and our ability to get our clients to feel so compelled to want to refer us that they pass our name and number on to people that they know, like, and trust.
Okay.
The other piece of it would be, well, I just called on a sign, or I was calling on Zillow, and then it becomes a matter of, wow, you don't realize how lucky you are. Aaron Hassinger has to be probably one of the best lenders that I've ever had the pleasure of working with. Not because he knows everything, not because they have the quickest turn times, but because Aaron really builds his business around relationships, which means that whatever he's going to tell you, whatever he's going to do for you, is predicated on one simple feature, and that is he wants you to be an advocate of his business. So no matter what he does, he always puts his clients' needs, wants, and goals at the forefront of every decision. So as you're out looking at homes, know that his entire message is really centered around making sure that you know that he cares about what your end result looks like, not so much about selling you a home, not so much about getting you a mortgage. He cares that you feel compelled to want to refer you.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes. I think that will really make a good conversation and make them feel more comfortable in trusting us.
Right. Well, the beauty of that is that when Aaron now or Pam or Angela pick up the phone, the beautiful part is that they can pick up the phone and have a conversation that continues that dialogue, but on a deeper level. Aaron can pick up the phone and start having that conversation. I'm sorry, I'm getting confused on who's doing what, but I would pick up the phone and I would say, hey, good afternoon, Tony. I'm glad that Aaron referred you to me. Yeah, he says that you were referred to us by Aaron, but you were actually referred to Aaron from your brother. Hey, tell me how that went. I mean, tell me what that dialogue looked like, because truly, I know how difficult it is to earn somebody's respect and trust to refer me. I mean, think about how hard it is to get somebody to endorse you and your services when there's so many different options out there. I spend a lot more time in that conversation dialoguing about that referral mindset and how powerful it is, or talking that person that referred us up and reiterating the reality of that business model being the key, the cornerstone of our entire practice, which always leads me into, or always led me into, that's how my business is built. I'm a really good lender, but to be honest, I've realized that people don't really care about rates and fees as much as they care about trusting the person that they're working with. I'll use this as an example. Imagine getting on an airplane. We've all been on an airplane before, all of us, but yet we don't know anything about the pilot. We don't know what they were doing the night before. We don't know what they ate in the morning. We don't know what their experience level is. We don't know how many flights they've been. We don't know if they've ever been written up, or if they have any if they have any black marks on their record. But yet we sit on an airplane in a seat and put our lives in their hands, and the only person that really makes us feel like it's going to be okay is probably the lowest paid person in the entire flight, and that's the flight attendants. And they don't even get tipped. They're the ones that make the flight enjoyable. They're the ones that make the flight fun. Their level of stress and their level of anxiety, or their level of excitement and their level of passion, sets the tone for all the people in the cabin. It's very similar. It's very similar to exactly that. We as pilots of the plane that are flying them to their destination have to do a great job of setting the stage appropriately so that our team can make sure that they manage their fears and expectations, which is why we all get paid. We all get paid to do really three things, but the biggest is going to be to manage people's fears and expectations. Our ability as a team to do that ensures our future success based on our clients' willingness to refer us. And let me just end it kind of around this model. There's a table, and if a table has one probably skinny leg, is that table as sturdy as one that has four legs? A table that has four legs is probably more stable than a table that has one leg, correct?
Yes.
Or even two legs for that matter, correct? That's kind of how our business model in my world looked. Right now, you guys do a really good job of funneling business in from real estate realtors, and you have some success with some past clients. So you have two legs that are supporting your table of business. What I'm trying to build is really two more additional legs, working on our skill set to be able to advocate our business to our clients that will genuinely want to refer us. Getting current client referrals is yet another leg that we can add to our table, and then orchestrating key relationships within the community and other businesses could be another fourth leg. So you'd have your current clients, you'd have your past clients, you'd have your realtors, and you'd have your business affiliations. Now, if you had four legs and Aaron was able to go out and choose which one of the pillars that he wanted to spend the most time at, I guarantee that your business will probably become a lot more stable, and you won't see the ebbs and flows of the highs and the lows of volume depending on the seasons, depending on the time of the year. Okay.
Okay.
So I would love
a lot to think about there.
Yep. Well, I know, and that's why we're going to do this once a week. So I'm not going to go into any more detail regarding the calls and anything else. What I would like to do, Aaron, is I'd like to spend some time with you maybe one more time before our next call next Wednesday and just kind of work through some conversation styles and some scripts on what I want you to be able to communicate to your clients during that initial phone call so that you're not getting sucked into the loan details, so that you're not getting sucked into the minutia of the file. The less you know about the loan, the better. Your number one concern is how do I make sure that I bridge the relationships between the referral source and the client so that my team can do their job and do it well.
Right.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
No, it makes total sense. And I'm actually, like, as soon as we hang up here, going to kind of write some things down so I don't forget them on how we want it to go from, because Tony's really good at the initial pass off, and we have like a team Skype account that, you know, she usually will type, like, as she transfers someone, she'll usually type some quick notes like, you know, referred from so-and-so. So we can really expand off of that tool.
Yep, absolutely. I think whatever Tony's able to extract from that call about the relationship and how it got to you, I don't really care so much about her putting you on a pedestal. I care about her focusing more on why that person was referred, what was said about you and your team that made that person want to call, and what that client or how that client got to that referral source in the beginning. You know, in this case, how did the borrower get to Aaron? What did Aaron say about me that made you, Tony, want to call me, as an example, and our ability to just use that as a steering wheel to get them down the path of that's how we do business. I mean, imagine if Aaron was, if Tony, if you were referred to Aaron by one of your friends, what an easy handoff conversation going, that's exactly how our business works. Our business is all built on relationships, so you understand the power of how working with somebody that cares about your goals, your wants, and your needs is so valuable. So effectively what you've done now is you've started to differentiate yourself from the rest of the pack that won't ask those questions. You don't have to tell them you're a commodity. You don't have to tell them that you do fast closings, that you got the cheapest rate, that you don't. Nobody cares about those questions in the initial phone call. What they're seeking is a feeling. What they're seeking is a alignment. What they're seeking is a rapport with somebody that they believe shares the same belief that they have, which is, I'm scared, I've not done this before, or I don't do it often, I don't really know what's going on, so I'm using what I believe are the right questions, and I'm not even sure if that's going to give me the best answer. Meaning, what are your rates, what are your fees, what are your turn times? Those are irrelevant at this point. Those conversations are really important, Mrs. Bauer, but you first have to know who's on this side of the telephone or this side of the desk or on this side of the computer before any of that stuff really resonates. So I really spend a lot of time making sure they see me, that they really listen to what I'm saying. But in order to do that, you've got to be able to effectively build that rapport with them. And that's where, Tony, you start, but that's where Aaron's real responsibility with the team comes in. It's not only to maintain those relationships, but it's also to establish that high level of communication within their emotional being. Aaron, people don't use you because of where you're located or because of what your fees are. They use you because you make them feel they believe that you're the right person for the job. They don't know, you do, but they don't know, so they have to go based on a feeling or a gut instinct. So what you say, what comes out of your mouth, the way in which you communicate your value without using the adjectives that everybody else uses is really only going to, that's really going to be the only differentiating factor that you have to reframe how your team builds their business and how your team is different, so that as Pam, as Angela, as Tony, as Adrian continue the dialogue with people, it's easy for them to make those kind of connections. Hey, you know what? Please don't keep us a secret. We really, really care about your belief in our business, and we really want to earn the right to, earn the right to work with somebody in your life. Imagine having somebody hear that 5, 6, 7, 10 times during the process. At some point, if Aaron set the stage up in the beginning, they're going to, because they know that that's the best way to say thank you. It isn't because you have a sticker on your card. It isn't because in a random conversation, Pam goes, oh my God, I need to ask for a referral. It starts by setting the stage in the beginning and having it happen consistently through the process, and you have to ask. And I will leave you with this statistic, and this is a big one. If you were to take the last 10 clients that you guys did business with, 2 people out of that 10 will never refer you regardless of how good of a job you've done. They're just not that kind of a person. They're just more of an introverted type person. They're not very communicative, and they don't shout it from the rooftops, even if they were extremely satisfied. There's another 20% or another 2 people that will tell everybody about you because they what we call social mavens. They are the social hub of the entire network of people that they know, and they're the ones that talk about the restaurants and the movies and the places and this, and they're the ones that tell everybody everything. Those people make up about 20% of your population. Then you have the remaining 60% or the remaining 6. Those people are all great and amazing, helpful, genuine, want to be there for you people. But most of the time, we never ask them for help. And because we don't ask them for help, they don't think we need it. And if we're not asking them for help the right way, they will never refer us. But if you orchestrate your business and you orchestrate your conversations to have those conversations in your dialogue with your clients, they will gladly endorse your business to other people because they believe that they're helping out somebody that they know, like, and trust. And who doesn't want to help out somebody that they know, like, and trust? We all want to. Heck, that's why I'm on the call with Aaron. I like him and respect him, and so I want to help him. And he asked me for help, so I gladly do it. I didn't seek Aaron out going, hey, let me coach your team. He asked me in our conversations, hey, do you think maybe you can, you can help my team out with that? It's the same premise. The people that want help Sometimes, like I said in the beginning, don't ask. They feel like it's a sign of weakness, or they're genuinely not referable. I think I'm a genuinely referable person. I think that the message that I have to share is worthwhile, so I'm gladly going to help Aaron out and you guys. But it's the same with our clients' mindset. If we're not asking, we're losing out on 60% of our clientele being an advocate of our business. Because if you don't ask them, they don't think we need it. And who thinks right now that we wouldn't benefit from earning the right of working with another 20 to 30% of our pipeline? If we got another 5 leads over the next week or two from our current clients, would that be a bad thing or a good thing?
A great thing.
It's a great thing. It's free. You've got confirmation that what you're doing is really working. And C, you know your system and your team are all in sync because people genuinely see how powerful you guys are.
Yeah, and the referrals from past clients usually tend to be like similar type people as they are. So I think we qualify more leads that come from clients or past clients than anything else.
The more that you get endorsed from people that have used you in the past, the less likely you have to be commoditized. That's the difference.
All right, Doug, we got a lot of stuff to work on here this week.
All right, guys, I appreciate your time. I am so honored and thankful that you guys took the time out of your busy day, and I know you guys got a ton of stuff going on. I am here to help you guys. Aaron's got my contact information, email address. If you guys have questions or want to talk to me before next week, please don't hesitate to reach out and ask. I'm always available to support you guys in any way, shape, or form. These are experiences that I've learned in my career. These are the practices that I had in my business that allowed me to run a successful mortgage practice. I had a team. I had a company. I've been through a large part of what you guys are going through. If I can help facilitate your business to grow and it doesn't change the way you want it to look and it allows you to do it without spending money, then I think it's a great fit. So I will do a.
Thank you so much.
Oh, you guys are welcome. You're so welcome. I'm going to do a. I'm going to download the class. I'm going to put it into a link, and then I'll send it to Aaron later today. And you guys, if you found something of value on the call and you want to re-listen to it, please do. Otherwise, we'll set the class up for again next Wednesday.
Awesome. Thanks, Doug.
Thank you.
All right, guys. Have a good morning. God bless. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Doug. Take care.
Yeah.
Question. Is there a phrase